Hi, this is Eli Losi. I have chosen to do a podcast for my multimedia documentary for English, and I did the Denver airport conspiracy. I chose this one just because it's one that I've been hearing about a lot lately. I've seen a couple videos of it on TikTok. I've been watching YouTube videos of it. It's something that I'm really interested in, just solely based off of the fact that I think that honestly it would be really cool if it was true. And the Denver airport conspiracy isn't necessarily just one big conspiracy, like one certain thing, like, oh, this is what happened, or, this is what it might be. It's really just a lot of different potential things that are happening there, kind of compiled. The one that you hear the most is probably that it's a bomb shelter. Honestly, I think just the mystery that's shrouded around it is enough to keep me interested, and that's why I decided to do a little bit more digging on this. But essentially the main pieces of evidence that are usually looked at are the Freemasons, which there's at least one plaque that's dedicated in their honor, and they got their little logo on there. And they're kind of associated with Illuminati and secret societies. And it just gets people wondering. I mean, this by itself wouldn't be that much for, that much that meets the eye in terms of, conspiracy. But, then it's paired with odd statues and murals, which were made by, most of the same people who, are said to have an odd way of illustrating things or, sculpting things. And so, it could be chalked up to that. But I don't know. I personally feel like it's mostly just a coincidence. And then you have one of the biggest pieces of evidence would be Lucifer, or the Blue Mustang. It's just this extremely big horse sculpture that's outside of the airport. And again, it's one of those things where, by itself, sure, it's odd, but it's, not that crazy. But when it's paired with everything else that's in there, it gets you thinking, okay, there might be something weird going on here. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit odd. It got me thinking. I'd say that was one of the key pieces of evidence. But to me, everything boils down to the secret tunnels below. It was said that a vast fortune was spent on creating these tunnels, and they're inaccessible to the average person. It says that high-level workers can get in there, but they don't say much about what's in there, and neither did the architect that created the airport. So, that's what got me thinking, maybe there's something down there. I would say, the main thing is that it could be a bomb shelter. I feel like it's the most likely. I mean, you don't hear much about bomb shelters that the government funds, but you figure it's got to be out there with the imminent threat of, a nuclear war. It could also be just a secret meeting place for, the Freemasons or the Illuminati. So it's definitely an interesting prospect. But whether or not there's proof of that, there isn't much, because, this is just one big conspiracy that, sure, it's interesting, but you don't have much proof for any of it because it's all right there. There's the information, and then, beyond that, there isn't much that, you can talk about. But if I had to give my own 2 cents on the whole Denver airport conspiracy, I would say that it's likely not true. I mean, I feel like, but on the same token, it's also, very likely to be true, because I guess if I were to believe a certain conspiracy theory, it would have to be this one, just because, I feel like it's really likely that the government would, have a motive to create a bomb shelter, rather than a lot of the other, far-fetched conspiracy theories that, have been gone over. This one, actually, you can see a clear motive, but the only reason that I say that this conspiracy theory isn't that likely to be true is because of the lack of evidence. You got to base this off of some type of evidence. And sure, you've got the basis stuff like the sculptures and the tunnels that you hear about and all that, but beyond that, there isn't really much. So yeah, thank you.